Hi guys, it's ArchieLuxury, and today I'm making a video from Lone Pine, and today's video, what I want to talk about is my collection that was stolen. This is a tribute to the pieces that I had. Now, unfortunately, let's be truthful there's limited chance of me getting them back. However, I've given the serial numbers to the manufacturers, and you never know your luck in the big city. So guys, before I actually went to America, I had somebody who sent me a request and said, "Hey Arch, I'd love to hear the story of how you built your watch collection and why you chose the pieces." The sad news is, when I came back to Australia, my entire collection had been stolen. It was gone ski, gone forever. So I thought, I want to make a tribute to the pieces in my collection. So let's have a bit of a talk. I'll put a picture up here and we'll have a bit of a talk. So firstly, my collection consisted of 4 Patek Philippe's. I love Patek Philippe, and I particularly love these watches. The first watch, the oldest Patek, the one I had the longest, was the Patek 5110J, a yellow gold world time. And I wanted this watch. I remember years ago, I was having some business difficulties, and I was just doing a bit of spitballing, bit of dreaming. And I thought, what watch would I want? If I won the lotto or had a windfall, what would I buy? Price, no object. And I remember thinking, Patek Philippe World Time. Patek World Time. And I remember thinking, you know what? The platinum is too ostentatious. I'd go for white gold. And funnily enough, many years later, I actually bought a white gold example, and then an even nicer yellow gold example became available. So I actually sold the white, got the yellow. I think the white is probably worth a bit more, but I actually paid more for the yellow. Beautiful minty piece, and that was a dream watch. I think in the modern context, the 5110 is probably a smidgen small, but I think it's got the best dial for the modern, when I say modern, from 2000 onwards, world times. So that's the world time. I chose that because it was a grail from years ago, and I just loved it. The next piece, another complication, is my annual calendar. Now this annual calendar here, has it got a story? I bought it to celebrate my 40th. I borrowed the money, of course. I didn't have funds lying around. And then what happened was, well, I sold it for personal reasons. My wife had a car accident, and I wanted to get her a piano, a baby grand piano. And then years later, I managed to buy it back. That's right, bought it back. And I gotta tell you, it's a 37mm watch, but it wore smaller. It wore like a 36, but I loved it. It was quirky. It had a big second hand because, just as an interesting side note, most of the perpetual calendars don't have a second hand because they use the 240 movement. But this had the big second hand, just a lovely, lovely, lovely piece in yellow gold. And I'd owned it, sold it, got the same one back. Then the third piece, I wanted the trilogy of the movement. So on the world time, I had the 240 Patek movement. On the annual calendar, I had the 315 movement, and I wanted the trilogy of having the 215 manual wine movement. And the perfect piece for that, well, it was the Patek 5196. I got a J, yellow gold. Beautiful, beautiful piece, exquisite. I got it from a fan, and I actually paid it off on installments all through COVID. And it was just an exquisite piece. One of my favorite references, 5196. Yes, it's flawed. Yes, it doesn't have a display back. But for all its flaws, I love it. I absolutely loved the 5196. And finally, the fourth Patek in my collection was the 5127, which was a tribute. It was kind of the tribute to the 5107, the 5107 I had years ago, which I got with my granddad's inheritance. Which that money, by the way, I sold the 5107, got a solid gold sub, then I sold that and got the world time white gold, sold that and got the yellow gold world time. So that was how these watches progressed, and the 5127 was beautiful. I got an optional extra deployant buckle. I got that through Shawnee. I had that fitted. I thought that watch was so sophisticated. An automatic Patek, it used the 315. The 5127s could use 315 or the 324 movement. This uses a 315. Just loved it. Just a great piece. So that was my collection ensemble of Pateks. All of them stolen, unfortunately. Ouch! Ouch. Then I actually had 4 Rolexes, but one of them survived because I was wearing it to America. That's the Explorer 2. The watches that didn't survive, well, there was the date sub, my first new Rolex since the 1016. And this one came from MJT. He got it for me. He sold it to me at retail. Absolutely trooper of a guy. I remember I think I paid, what did I pay for it? 15,000? Was it 15? Or maybe a bit, I can't even remember. But it was, maybe it was it 15? I think it was 15 I paid for it, because I had to pay the taxes on it. Beautiful watch. Date sub, 41 mil. I just loved it. I remember the day I picked it up. I met him at the airport. He was wearing a 42 mil white gold Yachtmaster. I just loved it. Then the other piece that was stolen was my Milgauss, Z Blue Milgauss. That came from Dave. I bought it from Dave, the super collector. I just loved that watch. Simple 3-hander, no date, no complication, just a very simple. I loved the blue. And then finally, the Sky Dweller, given to me by Bondage. White dial, steel Sky Dweller with white gold bezel, command bezel. Absolutely loved that piece. Unfortunately, those 3 Rolexes were taken in the robbery. I had a few other pieces. I had a Reverso Grand 8. I got this, my wife got this for my 40th birthday. It had an engraving on the back. That really hurts to have lost that watch. Absolutely loved it. I remember that was a watch I saw on Fred. He worked for Ronnie at Vintage Watch Co. I said, Fred, that's just so beautiful. I just was mesmerized by its beauty. I said to Fred, whether you want to sell it, I'll give you $1,000 more than you paid for it. He rang me the next day and he went to Japan. He used those funds to go to Japan. So, hey, that's very cool. I miss that Reverso. Yes, that's probably one of the ones, that was the watch out of the whole collection. That was the one I'd had the longest. Next piece, I had a Speedmaster Man on the Moon, a 1861, last of the big box, came from MJT. He gave it to me, peanuts, 4,500 I think I paid for it. Absolutely magnificent. It was fantastic. I just loved it. Just nice. I always love a Speedy. If I ever sell a Speedy, I always want one back. And then finally, what was the final piece I had? I had a Breguet Type 20 Erin Vale. It's with the date. I just got it from Dave the Super Collector, who got it from Ronnie. That's right. And so those were the pieces. Unfortunately gone. I loved them so much. I loved them. I really did love them. I put them in their Louis Vuitton. I had a Louis Vuitton watch box, which unfortunately was badly damaged in the burglary. They poured paint and sawed them up. Let's not even go there. Yeah. And what can I say? It was very tough. Very tough indeed. But such is life. That's the way life goes, I'm afraid. And all I can do is move on. I have to move on. So that's the watches I had. I got a lot of joy from them. I really love them. I really, really did love these watches. The fact that they're gone, it pains me greatly. But I need to move forward. If I live in the suffering and pain, that's not healthy. That's not a good way to progress. But I do love them. I have good memories of them. They were beautiful pieces. I even started putting together a diary. Every time I wore them, I'd write in my diary, that was stolen in the burglary, which is really painful because I would have liked to have had that book still. And they took it and probably have tossed it. That's what would have happened. So, how do I feel about it? I really love them. I really did love those pieces. Legally, they're still mine. There's no statute of limitations on robbery. They are my watches, technically. I love them. They gave me a lot of joy. I thought they were beautiful, beautiful watches. I really got a lot of pleasure in wearing them. And I had them in the safe. Well, I'm not going to go into that in detail, but because I love to play with them. I love to play with them. And we know how that turned out, Mr. Chesterfield. So I want to move forward, and I'm building a new collection. That's all I can do, is build a new collection. So guys, that's the collection that I had. It's gone. In a moment, it's gone. And I must say, I am completely shocked. Completely shocked. It is incredible what has happened. And I wish it wasn't the case. The last 3 months have been, what's that? November, December, January, have been extremely difficult, but there's niceness as well. I had a lot of nice supporters out there. And I gotta say, guys, I want to move forward. I gotta move forward. If I dwell on what I've lost there, it's an incredible pain. I mean, people have always lost things. You look at World War II. So many people lost their lives and lost their savings, and their family was uprooted, and all sorts of travesties occurred. There's been fires. People have lost all their possessions in fires. It's sad that it's robbery, because it feels, in my opinion, kind of worse that somebody wants to take something from somebody else, and they think that's a acceptable way to gain wealth, which is very sad. It's very, very sad. But I got to tell you, I'm moving on. I'm moving on from the loss, and guys, I want to remember them fondly, but you know, it's one of these things. These things, we arrive on this earth with nothing, and we leave the planet with nothing. So it's a bit unfortunate. I would have loved to have spent a bit more time with those watches, but I'm sure I can rebuild a collection, maybe not as big, in the future. So guys, that's my story. That's This is the hard video to make. I sort of had this one sitting in the box. I think, oh, how can I talk about the watches I've lost? But I wanted to put a positive spin on it because I really did love them. I really did love them. I still love them. They're gone. They're not in my possession. I still love them. They gave me a lot of happiness. And unfortunately, when they left, they gave me a lot of pain and suffering. But, you know, I think you have to move. I have to move forward. If I dwell on it, it's not going to help with anything. So that's the story of my watches. That's the story of my watches. I still love them. I still love those watches that are no longer with me, but you never know what could happen in the future. So, rebuilding. I got a beautiful watch on my wrist, courtesy of Dave, the super collector. I'm paying this off. Still owe a bit of money on it, but that's okay. Be positive, move forward, enjoy your watches. Okay, guys, I will see you in the next one. Hi guys, it's ArchieLuxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about David SW. David SW, David SW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at David SW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to David SW. I would highly recommend David SW, David SW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to David SW, David SW, David SW. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury on the YouTube sensation, the Paul Pluta channel. Guys, I need you to help me out, guys. I can't survive on Google Ads alone. I need you to request a paid review. $50 US, look down in the description. $50 US, I will review your collection. I'll tell you what I think of it, and I'll give you some pointers. The other thing is, guys, you can sponsor me on Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay a couple bucks a month, $1, $2, $5, whatever you want, and it keeps me going on YouTube because, guys, I'm in a niche. Nobody can make money out of the views I get. The views are crap because it's a small specialized area, and I don't talk about garbage for the sake of views. Guys, sponsor me on Patreon, look down below, and I will see you in the next one.